Welcome. My name is Chris Frew, CEO of BioBuzz Networks. I'm thrilled to be here today in Philadelphia for the third annual Life Sciences Symposium by Philly Builds Bio. We're here with hundreds of attendees and dozens of leaders on panels talking about innovation in life sciences and really the impact that's being made here in Philadelphia. And I'm very thrilled to be joined today by Rebecca Grant. Thanks for joining me, Rebecca.
Hi, Chris. Happy to be here.
Do you mind taking a quick second just to introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. So my name is Rebecca Grant. I am Senior Director of Life Sciences and Biotechnology for the City of Philadelphia. Senior Director of Life Sciences and Innovation for the City of Philadelphia. And honestly, what that means is I am responsible for attraction and expansion of life science companies to Philadelphia. I'm also responsible for retention of life science companies to Philadelphia. And I work within the Department of Commerce, and within the Department of Commerce, I work in the business development unit.
Terrific. Well, let's start off with just a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about the Parker administration's kind of vision and kind of some key agenda items for life sciences?
Yes. I think the biggest part of the Parker administration, there's like a slogan, cleaner, greener, safer, with economic opportunity for all. But what really resonates with me is the economic opportunity for all as far as it relates to life sciences. Life sciences is a format, for me, in my opinion, to bring people out of poverty, because it's an industry that pays well, that pays family-sustaining wages, that gives you time off, that gives you benefits, and sometimes will even pay for your education if you aren't able to get one. So we have everyone from folks with high school diplomas all the way up to the doctorate level working within this industry. So that economic opportunity for all from the Parker administration really rings true when it comes to Philadelphia as a life science hub.
I love that. And we at BioBuzz can personally attest to your commitment to that, because Rebecca Grant is also the Workforce Champion of the Year winner for BioBuzz last year. Yes. So your commitment to, again, opportunity for all, it really does resonate. So can you tell us a little bit about maybe some of those initiatives that are happening across Philadelphia that are building and retaining the workforce here?
Yeah, I think what's amazing is what we've done here. It started out as a proof of concept. We have life science training programs, and there are a lot of people who don't know they can be in science or think you need a doctorate degree to be in science. And so what we did is we partnered with a company, and I say we, but there was training partners who did this. They partnered with a company, basically took adult learners who wanted to be in science and trained them over about a 22-week period how to do aseptic techniques in the lab and biomanufacturing. And from that first proof of concept, there's been several other cohorts. And so we have folks working around Philadelphia in life science companies who just, were not necessarily going to do anything related to science in their lives. And the fact that we have people with high school diplomas, in this very wonderful and diverse life sciences ecosystem, making wages where they're able to sustain their families, able to, help their children and feed their children, and maybe, chart a different course for their families. I think it just changes everything when you're able to come into this industry, because there's so much room for growth. Absolutely.
What also is impressive to me when I look at what you and a lot of the stakeholders that you work with have done is industry is very much driving this,
yes,
which is pretty astounding. So these programs are demand driven.
Yeah.
They start with employers who want to hire. And could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, and it's actually amazing. So instead of us just doing some, vanilla box training, we partner with the company, figure out what their needs are, and the training programs are catered around their needs. And, that makes a huge difference for the folks who end up being hired by those companies at the end of training. One, because they've been exposed to that environment, and they're giving the industry partners what they need. I also think it's important because even though it's catered to the specific company, the fact is there's still skills that you can use in other spaces. There's just certain things that you do in science, pipetting, aseptic techniques. It's, people tweak them maybe from company to company, but there's still skills that you can use in other companies and other spaces, which I think is really important. So you're being given something that you can take with you.
Workforce is one of those core elements that are required for a healthy life science ecosystem. And I'm sure it's probably a question we get about a lot when you're recruiting companies to come to Philly. Some of the other elements are just a really good pipeline of innovation. I know you started off in the lab as well. And, how do you talk about like that innovation pipeline that you have here in Philadelphia?
Well, the thing is, in Philadelphia, we have it all. So really, I started out in the clinic. I'm a veterinarian. And so I came to Philadelphia to do research. And what always struck me was the collaborative nature and how hyper-local everything is. And you can literally walk between healthcare systems. There are so many things where I could pull a scientist from another lab, or even like a doctor from HUP, that's our hospital at the University of Pennsylvania, to help me. And so not only do we have, I think, an enormous amount of collaboration going here, we also have everything from like a brownfield to one bench to a greenfield to a fully spec building. So with this pipeline, as far as life science companies locating to Philadelphia, we have everything you want. But in all of that on top, you're going to get a collaborative ecosystem. You're going to have people who are accessible in your government, scientists who are accessible, CEOs who are accessible, and you have a low cost of living. So like in all of this, you're going to retain your employees as well. We have a high retention rate because you can come to Philadelphia, you can work. You look at other places, people graduating school, maybe they look and, the rent is so high elsewhere, and they look at Philly and they say, well, I can actually buy a house, so it's a very affordable city.
I like how you start off though. We have it all. That's an easy sell, isn't it?
I mean, but it's true because the good thing about me is I can say that from experience.
Yeah.
I moved from here in 2018, came back in 2020 because it was so hard to do research elsewhere. Here, people really want to help you. And a lot of our cures and treatments, some of them have just come from, serendipitous encounters. It's like people just were talking at the water cooler or having coffee, and they've come up with this great cure treatment for some major rare disease. It's amazing.
Yeah, collisions within an ecosystem report. Yes. Hopefully here we're at Philly Builds Bio, we're creating some more of those today. Yes. Speaking of kind of working together, there's a tremendous amount of excitement around Philadelphia, but also just in general with Pennsylvania under the new administration. Mm-hmm. How are you working with the state to make sure that Philadelphia is a part of the bigger Pennsylvania growth story?
Yeah, so I think what's exciting about this point in time is that we have an administration at the local city level as well as an administration at the state level who actually care about life science. I mean, Governor Shapiro made our first economic development plan, I think, within the last 20 years. And part of that plan, the sectors that we're targeting, one of them is life science. So I think, we work very closely with them when we, part of my job is attracting people here. And when there's an attraction and they want to be in Philly, I work closely with the state to make that happen. I work closely with our local folks in commerce to make that happen. But, my thing is I want you to be in Philly, but if you don't want to be in Philly, I want you to be in Pennsylvania. So we all work together closely. We also work with our greater Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce. So sometimes I get an attraction, they want to be in Philly, but maybe they decide, hey, I want to be in the suburbs. So I have people I can call. I can call folks at the state level and the chambers, life sciences, PA. We all work together on attracting companies. We all work together on the revamping incentives. I think there's a lot of optimism and energy, and I think we're going to see a lot of things change in Philadelphia for the better, making it easier for people to do their science in the city as well as the state.
That's great. And then the other theme I just keep hearing you and a lot of people talk about throughout the day is working together. And it seems to be a common theme to why people want to be here. Are there any exciting initiatives that your team is working on right now, or things that in Philly that you're really excited about?
Yeah, we have one local incentive that's been going well. I think it's been going on a little over a year now, and that's based on jobs for Philadelphians. So we have incentives for companies that hire Philadelphians. So that's really nice. Another thing that I'm working on locally is hopefully I will have some funds to start matching some of the small business grants that are given by the federal government, where I can help those small startups with small grants. So that's in the pipeline, and I think it's going to happen. So it's just going to take a little elbow grease on my part.
I don't know anyone that works harder than you do, so I have no doubt that's going to be coming around the corner. The workforce is strong here. Sounds like there's, again, any little bit of investment helps. It's been a tough couple of years for the market in general, but there's been some exciting investments that have come out of Philadelphia that as a kind of a shining star. What do you say to the companies that are raising money now and looking for a place to grow?
Yeah, I think when I look at the downturn that sort of happened, well, the pandemic, things kind of went up. There was money everywhere, and then it kind of slowed down a little. But when you think about all the life science hubs in the U.S., Philadelphia is doing really well. I mean, there was a little bit drying up of the funds here as well, but not compared to other spaces. The other thing about Philadelphia, we don't evangelize. We don't talk about how great we are. And I think we're finally getting that and realizing we have to market ourselves. Somehow we got lost between, Boston and DC, and people have no idea of the innovation coming out of here. So I think marketing is going to be a huge part of it. I mean, we have the first FDA-approved gene therapy, the first FDA-approved cell therapy. We have the doctors here that created the mRNA technology that allows you and I to sit here without a mask. That helped develop the COVID vaccine. So we just have to talk about it, and I think we're getting to that point.
I happen to know a platform that really enjoys creating buzz around Philadelphia.
BioBuzz.
Well, Rebecca, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Chris. It was really good seeing you.
Likewise. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
This has been a great day celebrating Philadelphia.
Yep.
And we know you're working hard, your administration's working hard, your team's working hard.
Yeah. Righty.
My name is Chris Frew. I'm the CEO of BioBuzz Networks. We're here recording live today at Philly Builds Bio. Thank you for joining us.